It is just heartbreaking. 48-year-old NYPD police officer Miosotis Familia, a beautiful mother of three, was assassinated on July 5th as she sat in her mobile command unit in the Bronx. A man with a sick mind, a 38, and a mission to kill ambushed her. Later at the hospital, it was surrounded by men and women in blue. And that's when Mayor de Blasio and the police commissioner showed up. Mayor de Blasio saw and felt the unadulterated pain that the Miosotis family was feeling. He witnessed the twins, a boy and a girl, crying uncontrollably. He felt the anger, the shock, and the fear through the sea of blue that he had to make his way through to get to the hospital. Outside the hospital, the mayor made a brief statement, and then he got on a plane to go to Germany. I can't believe he didn't cancel the trip. He had kept the trip a secret, and I can understand why. He was paid to go join anti-capitalist, communist, and anarchists in protesting the G20 summit and Donald Trump. Later that day, 524 recruits were sworn in as NYPD officers. They raised their hand and took the oath in uncertain times, when officers are being attacked simply because of the uniform they wear. Words of praise and support from New York City's mayor may have eased their fears. Instead, about that time, the mayor was probably having poached salmon in first class on Lufthansa. And about the time his plane touched down in Hamburg, hundreds had gathered for a vigil outside the 46th precinct in the Bronx just before the midnight shift that Miosotis worked. Wouldn't it have been wonderful for family and friends had the mayor showed up in a show of support? But the anti-capitalist was getting into his limo at the Hamburg airport. Later, from his hotel room, Bill de Blasio saw these images of people attacking police officers in the street. So as New York City was preparing a funeral for a police officer attacked in the street, the New York City mayor was in Hamburg, where people were attacking police officers in the street. There is no question that Bill de Blasio should have canceled this trip. His ego got in the way. He somehow delusionally sees himself as bigger than the job, as a worldwide leader in a progressive movement that is going to carry him to the White House. Don't laugh, I said delusional. And then there was the added incentive that his son Dante was interning in Germany, and he was getting a free trip, which politicians love. And this isn't the first time that Dante was involved in a controversy surrounding a police assassination. It was a few years back during the genesis of the Black Lives Matter movement. Bill de Blasio was all in. He allowed Black Lives Matter protesters to take over the streets of Manhattan, telling the NYPD to stand down and protect the protesters, even as they accused the police of being racist, some even wishing police dead. It was then that Bill de Blasio made a statement that he had to warn his biracial son Dante to fear police because they might do him harm because of the color of his skin. All these words and images filtered into the sick mind of another ex-con who traveled to New York from Baltimore with evil intentions. He assassinated police officers Rafael Ramos and Win Jane Liu as they sat in their squad car on duty in Brooklyn. When Bill de Blasio showed up at the Brooklyn hospital a little later, a gauntlet of police officers in the hallway turned their back on him. 2 weeks later, at Officer Liu's funeral, they turned their back on the mayor again. Mayor Bill de Blasio is now up for re-election. On November 4th, Election Day, voters in New York City will have their opportunity to turn their backs on the mayor. I'm Larry Mendte. See you again next week.